Hi everyone, it's Luke here from Weekend Tour Pros, and I'm really excited to bring you today's video because today is the first time that I get to do a club review on the channel. And what better way to start than with 2022's most anticipated driver, the TaylorMade Stealth. You've heard about it, I've heard about it, carbon technology, that bright red face. Is it going to make us all better golfers? Well, let's go and find out, shall we? Let's go and get stuck in and have a look at this driver. Okay guys, so I'm just about to hit some shots. Just to give you an idea of the setup, I've got the standard 10.5 degree lofted club. I've just set it up in complete standard position just to see what that's like to begin with. I've tried to pick a shaft as close to the shaft that I would use, so I picked the Hazardous RDX Smoke, which is the red one. It's a stiff shaft, 60 degrees mid spin. So that's what I'm using. I'm also using Pro V1 as the choice of golf ball, so hopefully we'll see what that comes out with. Just first impressions before I hit it is I thought the face was actually a little bit more red than this. It's actually kind of almost like a very deep red, like a blood red, almost a maroon. Not as kind of as offensive as maybe it looks in some of the marketing, but I like it. It's the first TaylorMade driver I've picked up in a long time and really just liked how it looks when it's at address. You can just see a glimpse of that kind of red face down at the ball. But actually the top of the head, it's kind of got this like almost kind of like a sheen kind of gloss look that goes around the outside and wraps around the outside of it, and then you've kind of got that matted head which actually makes it look really nice. If I just set it up against behind the ball, feels to me like you can see, because of the red face, a bit of loft, which actually for someone like me who as an amateur handicap golfer is always trying to learn to hit up on the ball with the driver rather than down, does inspire a bit of confidence that you can really see that lofted face from the red. So yeah, really looking forward to give it a hit. So let's hit the first one and see what we think. So I've just pulled it. It's not the highest ball flight in the world, but it sounded lovely. Just going to get the data up. But yeah, first impressions, very, very good. Right, so you've seen my first impressions of the club, guys, getting it in my hands, telling you what I think about it. I'm just going to break away for a second before we start hitting balls with it and just tell you a little bit of the marketing information that TaylorMade are telling us about this driver. Now, the first thing that they're talking about is why carbon. You know, that thing that's got everyone talking this year, why carbon? The future of driver performance, they say, begins with their 60 times carbon twist face. This comprises of 60 layers of carbon sheets strategically arranged for better energy transfer and faster ball speeds across a large area of the face. So according to TaylorMade, the reason for carbon is to try and generate faster ball speeds all across that area of the face, including on those miss hits. Hopefully something helpful for us amateur golfers. Now, the one thing I would say is they do quantify that claim by saying it's based on a comparison to Sim 2, their previous driver, and it is based on a 106 mile an hour club head speed with the driver. Now, the reason why I think that's important is that most of us watching down the lens won't be swinging it as fast as 106 miles an hour. That is the right bottom of the PGA Tour list. If you go and check the PGA Tour website, there is a few guys on the slower end that are swinging at that speed, and it is 12 mile an hour faster than the LPGA average. So we are talking about quite an elite speed here. So something for us to bear in mind is, are we going to get that benefit? They do talk about optimal spin and launch. They say their 20-year journey to change the face of golf was made possible by an innovative nano texture cover, which creates the face technology needed for the ideal amount of friction at impact. Polyurethane covers the entire face to fine-tune launch and spin, optimizing total distance in all playing conditions. Sounds great. Hopefully we'll see that. Now, the theme of most 2022 drivers, from what I've been reading about, is they're all talking about added forgiveness, and TaylorMade are no different. They say that the weight savings from the 60 times carbon twist face, which is 44% lighter than titanium, allows them to put more mass positioned lower in the head for added forgiveness, particularly when compared to Stealth Plus. Next, they talk about premium sound. Knowing that sound is a critical component of our feel, our team of engineers are obsessed over creating the perfect sound with Stealth. They've used a combination of curvature, shape, and internal stiffening ribs to finely tune the acoustics, delivering a sound profile that is both bright and powerful to match TaylorMade drivers through recent years. And the final thing they talk about is it's being shaped for speed. They say the asymmetric inertia generator creates advanced aerodynamics at the most critical phase of the swing, the moment right before impact. This breakthrough design increases club head speeds whilst also allowing additional weight to be placed at the rear of the club to encourage higher MOI, optimal launch and improved forgiveness. All sounds really, really exciting. Makes me even more excited to hit it and see if I see some of these things. Now, before I do take you back to the fitting bay and start hitting the ball, one thing I just want to share with you is the specs that this club comes in. Now, some of you have watched the channel a few times already will notice that I'm a left-handed golfer. For those of you righties down there, you don't realise how tough us lefties have it. Most club manufacturers don't give us as many options. So something you'll always see on this channel whenever I'm reviewing a club is I'll always tell you what specs is available in, so those lefties don't feel left out. Now, the Stealth driver comes in 3 different loft options. There's a 9 degree, a 10.5 degree, and a 12 degree. Now, those first 2 options, the 9 and the 10.5, are available in righty or lefty. The 12 degree is unfortunately only available in a right-handed option. Now, for me personally, I'd love to have hit a 12 degree driver because it does give me the option of having the loft there without having to close the face by adjusting the sleeve on the neck. But hopefully it's something we'll have a little play with when we're in the fitting bay and we can see what we get with the 10.5 degree loft option that I've got to test. Right, let's get back to the fitting bay. Let's start hitting some balls, let's start showing you some numbers and seeing how I find it. Try and hit this one just a bit more down the left. Oh my, I love the sound of it, absolutely love the sound of it. That's 2 in a row. Now, I am someone who typically struggles with hitting a straight ball flight with the driver. I do hit quite often a straight pull. I have the ability where I'm trying to get that ball forward and hit up on it to kind of have the club face open and kind of hit that little one that cuts away. But that's 2 in a row now that have gone dead straight, pulled right mind you, but dead straight. The ball has just gone lasered through the air, which is absolutely a joy to see. So yeah, really, really liking this after 2 hits, guys. That's lovely. Has had a little bit of a cut on it, but the wind is going from right to left. It's gone up in the air a little bit. I'm hoping I've just hit up on that one a little bit more. Yes, we've seen the distance jump right up there, guys, because I've managed to hit up on it a little bit more. So the distance on that one, guys, has gone right up there. It's actually up to 212 yards now, so gone up by about 15 yards from the first couple as I'm starting to get a feel for it. But I think that's because already I'm starting to get the confidence that this is a lovely golf club and I'm really, really enjoying hitting it. And it's a worry for me and my bank balance at the moment because I'm enjoying hitting it more than I hit my ping. So okay, guys, so I've just put the stock Ventus 5R shaft in it, Ventus Red 5R shaft. This one is for a high mid trajectory, so I am someone that generally struggles to get the ball launched. It is a regular flex versus the stiff, so I'm just going to hit a few of that, see if the club feels any different, but I love it so far and I'm hoping this won't change it. That's much better. Again, come out a little bit lower, that one, and maybe just caught a little bit low on the face, but again, laser straight. Again, this is all down to strike and me as the individual. I don't think that one's going to have gone very far. We'll see when it pops up on a second, Mr. Trackman. Right, last couple of hits. Oh, it has picked it up now, guys. 178 yards. Bit more club head speed there from me, but yeah, let's hit a couple more. Oh, that's a bullet. I finally managed to get another one down the left-hand side. It's again, just laser straight again, guys. I just can't comment on how much this is going laser straight. Either I'm hitting the ball really well or this club is inspiring me the confidence that I just know wherever I go, it's just gonna go straight from there. Again, probably not the longest in the world that I've hit, but a beaut. So that last one's just gone 188, 189. Last couple. Just as I'm warming up now, we're going to be finished. It's a shame. Loving it. Pulled that down the right, but again, it's dead straight. Wherever it starts, it carries on. Again, ultimately about my delivery, hitting down on it, on that last one again. Right, one more to finish. Let's have a good one. Sadly, guys, Trackman didn't actually catch that last one. It must have been just me how I set it up there. But that is the first one that's actually just gone a little bit from the right to the left. Now, like I said earlier, the wind is coming across that way, so I don't know how much of that was me and how much of that then it's just rode the wind and gone it. But I've hit somewhere in the region of, what, 15 drives with the club. First one that's done that. Everything else, wherever it started, it has gone. Right, I've just got home from the fitting and had a chance to look at the numbers, guys, and I've put them up on screen for you here. Like I said on the video, I hit about 15 shots with the club. I've kind of picked the best 8 of those. You know, I don't think there's any point in showing you shots that I completely mishit as I was getting used to the club and the shaft, but I've tried to keep in the best 8 of them, which includes some not so good hits. And there's a few things I just want to touch on here for you. So first of all, I want to start left to right with the club head speed. Shot number 4, you'll see that the club head speed there was 95.3 miles an hour. That is high for me. I'm usually around the 93, 94 mark. So the fact that quite early into hitting the club, I was able to feel confident enough to go after it and kind of obviously increase my speed is really, really promising, and says there's a lot of potential in this club for me. Just moving on from that, a couple of columns to the right and having a little look at the smash factor, you'll see that those first 3 shots have a smash factor of 1.46, 1.43, 1.43, and that shot number 6 also had a smash factor of 1.4. Now those are really, really high numbers for me, guys. I'm used to hitting around the 1.37, 1.38 when I've been on Trackman with my ping driver recently, so I don't know if this is anything to do with some of the claims TaylorMade are making around the added forgiveness on mishits, but for me to maintain quite high ball speed numbers on those mishits and get smash factors so high was really, really promising for me. So definitely something that sort of validates some of the claims that TaylorMade are making in their marketing. If we move again to the carry number, you'll see that 3rd shot, which was the one that I showed in the video where I hit it really well, managed to get out to 212 yards. Anything above 210 on the carry is really, really good for me, and again just showed me the potential of what this club is capable of doing if I do get it dialed in and do get even more confidence with it. Final thing I just want to touch on in this section, if we move a bit further to the right, is the club path, face angle and face to path. If we look at the averages of those in the top row of the screen, you'll see that I was delivering a club path 8.8 degrees to the right. I was delivering a face that was 5.6 degrees on average to the right, and therefore my face was 3.2 degrees open to my path. So those numbers are very much out to in for a left-handed golfer, that typical amateur pattern of a slight slice or a baby cut that turns into a slice if it gets exaggerated. Again, as you could see throughout the sort of videos I was hitting shots and some of the trajectories that I showed you on screen, it felt like the ball was going really laser straight. I wasn't seeing a lot of curvature in the air until that very last shot. For me, that's really, really promising, and yeah, it does give me a little bit of confidence that actually the club is able to kind of, whether it's the gearing effect, whether it's twist face, you know, one of those claims that TaylorMade make, or just that, like I say, the generic gearing effect of the club, it was able to actually stabilize and hit quite a straight shot despite the fact I was delivering an open face on average to the path. If we just move across to the dispersion graphs here, there's a couple of things I want to call out. First of all, you can see that best hit that I had of 212 yards circled on the top left. Just shows when I delivered some good launch conditions, the potential of this club in my hands. The second thing I wanted to show is actually those 4 that are on the right hand side where I was hitting the pools with it quite early doors. What you can see there is actually there's quite a tight dispersion, despite the fact that some of the delivery numbers were a little bit different, which again gives me some confidence in the consistency of the club and the forgiveness of the club. If we just look at the total dispersion graph here very, very quickly, what you'll see is there's a little bit of a tighter dispersion front to back. Looking at the numbers, what this is saying to me is purely that on the shots that I hit a little bit lower, I was getting a bit more rollout. On the shots that I hit a bit higher, I was getting a higher carry number, not as much rollout. And those two things together have just married up into a tighter dispersion. What I would say from this though is those top few shots that are a little bit further out there, definitely some confidence for me that if I did get the loft sleeve dialed up and did optimize my delivery with the club a little bit better, I would be able to get this even tighter than what is showing on this picture. So all in all, guys, really, really happy with the numbers, especially given it was my first hit of the club and I wasn't in the, delivering the best shots on the day, wasn't swinging the club as good as I potentially can be. So yeah, really, really happy, and I think, potentially validates some of the claims that TaylorMade were making. Right, that's it, guys. We're going to move across to the conclusion now, and I'll wrap it up with some final thoughts. Okay, so we've reached the end of the video today, guys, and all that's left is for me to give you my concluding thoughts on the TaylorMade Stealth driver. Now, hopefully you could see throughout the video, particularly when I was in the hitting bay, I really started to warm to the driver really quickly. The red face, for me personally, I really liked it because it allowed me to see that view of loft on the club, which gave me a little bit of confidence when it was down at the ball. It's certainly the best looking TaylorMade driver that I have seen in my hands in the last few years. They've moved away from the whites of the older drivers, and I do think it's a much more attractive looking driver driver with the all black and the red face. In terms of how it sounded lovely. They talked about that at the beginning. I mentioned kind of one of the TaylorMade spiel about the sound of it. It sounded lovely. And then more importantly, in terms of how it came off the club when I was hitting it, I loved it. I think you can see that on the day I wasn't swinging it my best. I'd already played 18 holes. I'd had a bit of a niggly back injury, so my ball speed wasn't there. I also hadn't had it dialed into the proper loft. I was kind of kept it at the 10.5 degree, which is a little bit low for me. So whilst that did mean that kind of some of my carry distances were maybe 10, 15 yards lower, I don't think that's anything to do with the driver. I think that's to do with me on the day, the fact that I was a little bit tired, and the fact that I hadn't properly tuned the driver into me. However, the one thing that really did impress me about it, I talked about it a few times I was hitting balls, wherever the ball started, it seemed to go dead straight. I think there was only one shot that I hit, which was delivered with a slightly open face, where the ball actually kind of curved off a little bit. Now, I don't know if that's anything different in this version of twist face compared to previous. I don't know if I was just delivering the club a little bit more neutral than I usually would do, but for me, that was something that really impressed me. You know, I kept pulling them a little bit during the hitting, but wherever it started, it just carried on. And for me, as kind of a handicap golfer, to start getting that confidence inside kind of a dozen shots, that wherever that ball starts, it's going to go, just gave me a little bit more confidence to start chasing after it a little bit, and hopefully starting to generate a little bit more speed. So for me, if I was going out and testing a driver this year, this would absolutely be at the top of my list of things that I'd want to test. Do I prefer it to my Ping G410? Don't know. I really don't know, but I did love the drive, and I do think if you guys down the lens are watching and thinking about testing it, you should go and give it a go just to see what all the fascination is about, because I loved it. Right guys, we've reached the end of the video then today, so all that's left for me to do is just to say, if you've liked the video, please do click that thumbs up button. Please do subscribe to the channel. It really helps me. And like I touched on at the beginning of the video, please tell me in the comments down below if there's anything you'd like to see in these reviews of golf clubs. I really want this channel to be all about helping the average golfer down the lens and being relatable to you guys, so I need your feedback on what you want to see in there. Just before I do finish, I do need to say a very special thank you to Portsmouth Golf Centre for allowing me to go in and hit the Stealth driver. The guys down there have been really helpful with me over the last couple of weeks and months, giving me the opportunity to hit a few clubs, make these reviews for you guys. Real good supporters of me and the channel, so thank you so much to the guys at Portsmouth Golf Centre. If you're ever on the South Coast and want to visit a driving range, have a golf lesson, go and get your clubs fit, please do check them out. The guys down there are great, offer a brilliant service, and I've used them for years, so thank you very much guys. All's left to say is thanks for watching, have a lovely evening, good night.